This is the story about the mines and towns of what became known as the Alberta Coal Branch. These towns are right in the foothills on the eastern side of the Rocky Mountains, not too far south of Jasper National Park. Before I get going here, I would like to mention that this video is kind of a mixed bag of dashcam footage along with some of the older black and white photos that I usually work with. Also, before I forget, I must apologize for the glare of the sun in some of the videos. After looking at the dashcam videos, I came to realize that I am not what you would call a top-notch videographer. This is an area of the eastern Rocky Mountains that I've wanted to tour for quite some time, so this summer I managed to get away for a couple of days and take a look at what is left of these old coal towns. This is the second video I have done of the eastern Rocky coal fields. The other video is about the mines of Nordegg. If you haven't watched that video, I'll leave a link in the description box below, as well as a link at the end of this video. In its heyday, the coal branch supported a population of almost 3,000 people spread out among several communities. These towns consisted of CADOMIN, Mercoal, Mountain Park, Beacon Hill, Coal Valley, Luscar, Lovettville, Coal Spur, and Robb. The only places left with people living today are the towns of Robb and CADOMIN. Mountain Park was the first of the coal towns to get established. It was John Gregg who discovered the coal seams of both Mountain Park and Luscar. At its peak, this settlement had around 1,500 people. However, all that is left today is the cemetery. It was reported that John Gregg was also one of General Custer's scouts. It is said that he was out on an expedition trip during the time of Custer's last stand. Coal Spur got its start back in 1909. In 1911, the Grand Trunk Pacific Railway built a line to Coal Spur, and the town sort of became a transportation hub as well as a mining town. However, with underground fires in 1915 and again in 1922, the mines closed down. Mercoal was founded in 1920 and was bought out in 1941 by the Canadian collieries. This buyout saw the population increase from around 200 to over 800 in just 5 years. Today there are just a few houses and some old concrete foundations of where the mine and other infrastructure once stood. Luscar had a small settlement and ended up becoming an open pit mine in its later years. There is still a coal cleaning facility at Luscar. Robb is a small town with not much there. The town has a few streets with a few folks and a hotel. Originally, the town was named Minehead. Later, the name was changed to Robb after Peter Addison Robb, who was the founder of the Minehead Coal Company. Peter would later be sentenced to 5 years in prison in 1925 for election tampering. However, he was released 2 years later. The only real place that has any kind of life left out of all these old coal towns is CADOMIN, so that is where I headed. CADOMIN is short for the Canadian Dominion Mining Company. Mining started here in 1917, and the coal seams around CADOMIN were noted as being some of the largest and deepest seams in this area at the time. The post office opened in August 1918. CADOMIN's population peaked at 1,800 during the mid-1930s. CADOMIN had everything at that time. There was a school, stores, hospital, churches, liquor joints, and hotels. It was the only town in the coal branch that had a police station as well as a bank. Over time, there were 4 mines that were producing in CADOMIN. The main coal seam here was said to be over 30 feet thick. This coal was used for producing steam and would be railed out to steam generators as well as other industrial uses. Then in 1944, a surface mine was opened up as well as the underground mines. The town site of CADOMIN was built beside the McLeod River, and in 1952 there was a flash flood that devastated the town and also the underground mines. 5 miners were trapped and died at that time. It was at this same time that the uses of coal for steam power had peaked, and natural gas and diesel were being used more and more, so the mines ended up shutting down. With no work, the people started to pack up and move out, and within a couple of years the town lost about 90% of its population. You can still go out to the town of CADOMIN and a few of the other towns today. There is maybe around 50 or so people who live there. The roads are mostly gravel, so if it's raining it can get quite messy. The town of CADOMIN is sort of making a comeback. I noticed that some people are fixing up some of the old mine houses and others are tearing old ones down and some new houses are being built. I think a lot of the homes are sort of like weekend or vacation homes. The town has a brand new community center too. I also noticed that there is an active rock quarry just a few miles out of town where they ship blast rock out on rail cars. If you like camping and the outdoors and not being around other people, then this is a place you'll love. Nothing but fresh mountain air with miles and miles of trails to hike and explore. Lots of creeks and rivers for fishing too. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this short story about the towns of the coal branch. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you more old, lost mine stories.